Today we are going to take a break from the quest for the 4,000 footers and hike a mountain that I've been long overdue for. Mount Washington, the highest mountain in the northeast New England and New Hampshire. Haven't hiked it in 3 years. Plus, for some weird reason, I didn't really feel up to hiking any of the remaining 5 peaks on my list. I just said to myself, I gotta do this. I'll probably resume the quest next week, but I just have to do this. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. Respect the ravines. Indeed, especially Huntington, considering how dangerous that can sometimes be. We're not going up that way because, quite frankly, the ledges are wet, and going up the ravine when the ledges are wet is a death wish. So, I'm going to stay on the Tuckerman Ravine Trail for now. Then we're going to link up with the Boott Spur Trail and take that up to the top. Alright, we've reached the bridge. Over here I got what I believe to be Crystal Cascade. And out there is a view towards the Wildcat Ridge. But onward we continue on the Tuckerman Ravine Trail. Okay, correction. So that is Crystal Cascade. Very, very nice. And we have a strange stone wall here. I don't know what this is built for, whether it be just for observation or for some kind of utility way back when, because lower part of this trail used to be some sort of old woods road. I don't know. Let's enjoy. Alright, we've reached the junction with the Boott Spur Trail. We're going to be taking that 2.9 miles to the Davis Path. Then it'll take the Davis Path to the top of Mount Washington. Main reason I want to hike up this trail, actually there's two. One, so I can bag Washington sub-peak Boott Spur, and two, to avoid the crowds on tucks. Pretty smart decision in my opinion. This trail is definitely more of a trail than tucks, at least the lower part of it anyway. As you can see, it's blazing yellow. This is just a regular trail, not the AT north side path of it. Scenic trail, but quite steep in spots. Oh well. It's Mount Washington for you. Well, what do you know? A ladder. Well, I'm gonna do my thing up this ladder, and I'll meet you farther up the trail. Haha, I did it. Climbed the ladder. Got some nice little bog bridges here. As you can hopefully see, the woods are already changing. This shows how quickly we're gaining altitude. And onward we go. Making our way up the Boott Spur Trail. It's about maybe 5.5 miles to the top. As you can see, quite scenic. Nice woods, rugged terrain. What more could a guy ask for? I gotta say, this trail is extremely well maintained. I gotta give props to the AMC, the FS, or whoever maintains it, for creating such an attractive trail to walk on. Man, this really is a nice trail. Some mud in spots, and that can't be helped. And above the trees is really windy, so I need to put on my windbreaker, maybe even my winter hat once I hit tree line. Got some cool ledge scrambles up here. I'm gonna do my thing up them, and I'll meet you farther up the trail. Oh, here we go. First real good view on the trail proper. And our destination is covered in clouds. My goodness. Still, the view out to the Wildcat Carter Range is awesome. Now we continue. From that vista I showed you earlier, I could definitely see tree line. So, should be getting fairly close to it. We've reached a junction with a spur path to an outlook over a Tuckerman Ravine. Let's go there. Oh man, it is rather windy. And of course, Mount Washington is still in the clouds. My goodness. Over there is Huntington Ravine. And up there is where we're going. Better bring up my windbreaker. And if you, once I get up there, don't want to freeze to death. Alright, I do believe that's where the sign marking the Alpine Zone used to be. Either that's where a sign for a forest protection area was, but either way, we're almost to the tree line. And I'll meet you once you get there. Welcome to the tree line. As you can see, rather windy. The views, cow. Awesome! But now we continue on the Boott Spur Trail. We have made it to Split Rock, an odd split glacial erratic perched on the edge of the ridge of Boott Spur. Still, you can really take refuge in here if the wind's blowing in the right direction. And by right direction, I mean not directly at you. Now we continue up the Boott Spur Trail. This is a very scenic trail, but definitely challenging indeed. Finally put my windbreaker on. Gonna need it, especially once I start ascending the Cone of Washington. As I was told, it's about 50-mile-an-hour winds up there. So, better wear all the clothes that I brought to cope with that wind. That is what we'll be climbing. Now I'll meet you farther up east. We have a notoriously flat section. Before he started ascending that, the Cone of Boott Spur. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Man, it's gotten a lot windier and a lot more exposed. But that's what makes it fun. Just gotta be careful about it. From that junction, it was 0.7 miles to the Davis Path. Now it's probably closer to half a mile. Onward we go. They don't call this a Rockpile for nothing. Holy rock spat, man. Let's do this. Let's get to the ridge crest in Boott Spur. Here comes another steep part. I will get up this thing, then I will meet you, hopefully at the ridge crest. Wind But holy crap, this is scenic. Love it. And should be getting close to the Davis Pass junction. That'll meet you once you get there.
Alright, we've reached the summit of Boott Spur, Mount Washington's, one of Mount Washington's sub-peaks. The wind is incredibly strong and yelling, and I still don't know if you can hear me. But man, the views are awesome. Unfortunately, the clouds are blowing in, so I'm going to cherish them if we can. And our next destination is up there, Mount Washington. Also, if for some reason I don't make it to Washington, I'll say some at some point. That'll be you in the Davis Pass.
We'll be into the Davis Pass where we were. Boott Spur is up there. And we're going to continue on the Davis Path another 0.6 miles to the long tunnel. On we go. Jeez. Here come the clouds. At least I got some good views above tree line. Hopefully by the time we get to Washington Summit, the clouds will. Now we are going over another knob of Mount Washington. Not as significant as Boott Spur though, which we climbed all the way back there. Let's say we have about a little over 1.5 miles to the top. Let's go. Almost this big, is not just this big. Just the one that's on Parker Mountain in Stratford, New Hampshire. And things you'll find about tree line. We have reached the junction with the long cutoff. We're going to be taking it over this, not really much of a trail, but just a mass of rocks marked by cairns, over to the Tuckerman Ravine Trail. Then we'll take that trail to the top of Mount Washington. Just a tad chilly. As you can see, I've had to wear my jacket and a winter hat. So, only on Mount Washington and the northern piece we have to do this, at least in these parts. Alright, we are making our way up the steep cone of Mount Washington. I'd say less than half a mile to the summit. Can we do it? Can we summit Washington for the third time and have it be the second time we go up and down on foot? Let's find out. We've reached the junction with the Lionhead Trail, which will be our descent route back to the Hermit Lake shelters. And we're going to go this way, 0.4 miles to the top. Let's do it. Should be getting very close to the top. I'd say it can't be more than a quarter mile. Let's see. Well, we passed the end of the Tuckerman Ravine Trail. Now we are beginning the final approach to the top via part of the auto road, a set of stairs over there. Let's do it. I'll meet you on the summit proper. We've made it to the summit area of Mount Washington. This is where they park the vans, take people up and down the mountain, and also where the hiker shuttles are parked. Over there you have the summit stage office. Unfortunately I can't film too much because it's incredibly crowded as usual. But I'll definitely try and get a summit snapshot. Over there we have the observation deck. Over there is the observatory, but everything is so clouded in that you can't really see too much. I'm trying to get as much footage as I can for YouTube's sake. Because there are some of you who have never hiked this mountain and want to give the greatest feeling of what the mountain's like in a relatively short time span. Alright, welcome to the Mount Washington Observatory deck. Normally on a cloudless, or fairly cloudless day, there's an awesome view up here, but fortunately nothing but gray. Just thought I'd share some interesting tidbits about Mount Washington with you. The first ascent of it was in 1642 by a European by the name of Darby Field. He was supposedly guided by Abenaki Indians who lived in the area. Auto road was built in 1861 as the first vehicle, so to speak, to move up the mountain. And then 8 years later, in 1869, they built the Cog Railway as a much safer route to the top or bottom, especially in the case of bad weather. Up until they started using up until the innovation of the automobile, the stages, which are now vans, were horse-drawn carriages, which is how they got their name. Now Chevy vans, 8-passenger with super heavy-duty transmissions, do the job of the stages that worked that hard so long ago. I'm going to take a lunch break inside the observation deck, and then I'll meet you somewhere around the summit if I haven't showed you it. Alright, what you are currently looking at is the Sherman Adams Summit building. It was built in the 1980s, I think, late 1970s, I'm not sure. And this building is actually designed to withstand 300-mile-an-hour winds. And considering winds haven't broken 200 since like probably 1934 when the record was broken, I don't think this building has anything to worry about. Inside there's a snack bar, a museum, and a bathroom, as well as places for hikers to refill their water bottles. So I'm going to take a quick breather in there, and then I'll meet you. Alright, now the last area of Mount Washington I'm going to show you before I head down. Well, there's the Tip Top House. That's the Yankee building. It's just an area of towers and whatnot, but over here is where the Crawford Path terminates. Goes all the way from Route 302 and Crawford Notch over Mount Pierce, Eisenhower, Franklin, Pierce, sorry I said Pierce, Monroe, and Washington. Long trail, also a very historic one, considered the oldest continuously maintained hiking trail in America. So, with that, I'm going to bid Mount Washington goodbye and begin heading back. Alright, I've decided to go down this mountain via the Lionhead Trail and then link back up at Tuckerman Ravine. So, good view into the ravine. And down there is the actual Lionhead. It's like a big molten rock formation. That's the ridge we came up. Boott Spur. We're going to be heading towards that rock formation right there. Lionhead. And from there, I don't know how the descent will be. Hopefully not too rough in the knees. These Prezi rocks are ripping apart my new hiking boots. As you can see, I got a hole in one of them. But to be fair, these are cheapo Walmart boots, so I didn't think they'd last very long, especially if I do all this above tree line hiking. Guess I gotta fork up the 150 or so bucks and get a real pair of hiking boots from Bass Pro, Eastern Mountain Sports, what have you. Because I don't want to be halfway down a steep trail and have the soles on my boots come off. Now we've reached the junction with the Alpine Garden Trail. 0.3 miles to Tux that way, 0.9 miles to Huntington that way, but we're not going either way. Oh no, we are taking the Lionhead Trail to the Hermit Lake Shelter, 1.9 miles away. Then we're going to take Tuckerman Ravine Trail back to the trailhead, which will make a total of 3.4 miles remaining for the descent. Alright, we've reached the bulging massive rock called Lion's Head. As you can see, it has an awesome view into Tuckerman Ravine and up the Boott Spur and the ridge string from it. And there you got a fairly recent landslide. And over there you have the Hermit Lake shelters and the caretaker's cabin. Well, you have to go down that to get to it. Don't know how fun that's going to be. Let's see. Some rough descending. I didn't tell you this on the way up, but on the way up, shortly before the summit of Mount Washington, I had like this knot or cramp or something in my knee. I could feel it bulging out. Wonder what the hell that was. It was fine until just about now. Starting to come back again. Oh well. I'm going down now. All I gotta do is take my time, watch my footing, and I should be back to Pink and Notch Visitor Center in one piece. The Hermit Lake shelters and the caretaker cabin are well within view and pretty close view. This part of the hike's almost done. Then we have a nice cruise out on Tux. Wow. Look at that ledge. If you're on top of that knee slip, you're going to fall a long, long way. We have a ladder, just like on the early part of the Boott Spur Trail. Do my thing, then I'll meet you hopefully at the Hermit Lake shelters. A nice little babbling brook. Probably the most calm and relaxing part of the descent. I mean, it was extremely scenic, awesome views, good rugged terrain, but it was just a pain in the neck to descend because it was so incredibly rocky and still tearing apart my hiking boots. Still, good trail, just incredibly rough and rocky. Well, we're off the Lionhead Trail finally. Now we're just gonna have a hopefully nice 2-mile descent back to the Pink and Notch Visitor Center on the Tuckerman Ravine Trail. I decided not to go to the caretaker's cabin because, quite frankly, I've had enough up for one day. Pretty sure this hike had around 4,500 feet of elevation gain, just about. But yeah, I've had enough. I'll meet you farther down the trail. This part of the trail is looking very familiar to me. That's a long, windy old tractor road it was when I last came here in 2009. Sure, there's got to be some history to it. I have to look that up in my spare time. I think I vaguely remember this bridge. Heck, I remember stopping on quite a few bridges. So, my memory could be a little fuzzy. But anyway, down we go. I can hear the sounds of trucks and motorcycles on Route 16 in Pink and Notch. We're almost done. Recall this junction? This is where he really started the hike. And this is the beginning of the Boott Spur Trail, which we took pretty much all the way up to the ridge crest. Should have a easy trek back down on the remainder of Tuckerman Ravine Trail. Well, we made it back to the trailhead. Yes, Mount Washington is done for the second successful time, meaning going up and going down. Man, this hike kicked my butt. Most of it was pretty rough. With very rocky footing. But I got to the summit, got my pizza, and that's all that matters. This hike was about, I'd say, 9.5 miles round trip. With about 4,500 feet of elevation gain, and I did it in 6 hours flat. So, from the Pink and Notch Visitor Center, Mount Washington, see you on my next adventure.